In the spirit of reconciliation, We Are Theatre and Theatrically Loud acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Hello theatre fans, one and all. Welcome to the We Are Theatre podcast. My name is Josh. If you're new here, hi. I have two new faces with me on this podcast too. Katie, Cara, hello. How are we?
Hello. We're good.
Now, guys, these two aren't joining me for any reason. We have a new show coming out, a new short show, but it looks fantastic from what I've seen so far. It comes out at the end of this month, so you guys are going to need to follow along. Suddenly is coming to your screens, and these guys are going to take us through what this show's about, who they play, and we're just going to have a little chat. So, Cara, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Hello. I'm playing Max, and Max is a very driven gal. She's got a very strong relationship with her mother. She knows what she wants and she knows exactly how to get it, but something happens in the show where she doesn't quite get the support that she wants, and she's got to try and figure out how to get that.
Cool. And Katie?
I play Lindsay in Suddenly. Max's mum. She's a young mum. She went through some stuff when she was younger, and Max is just her anchor through life, and she'd do anything to ensure that Max is always by her side. And I think she's the decisions that she makes in the show which affect Max in a negative way, which is where the show comes in. Are all are all bound by this past that they've both had to manage through. And I think suddenly the film is like this window into this peak of their problems that they've been managing through and maybe sweeping it under a rug, and we come into it at that point. So it's a lot going on in half an hour.
Considering it's only half an hour, guys, like this is going to be an incredible little piece that you guys are going to need to get your eyes onto. From your perspective, guys, what was it like putting this show together, rehearsing, coming in to a creative process that I'm pretty sure Dean told me it was all online to start with via Zoom. So how was that kind of rehearsing a show digitally as a creative process?
Cara?
I mean, it was quite interesting because I was just finishing my final year of training. So all of that was online. So I'd kind of already gotten used to, doing classes over Zoom and singing over Zoom. So doing the auditions and the scene work and working through that and collaborating for that over Zoom, I guess it was something I was already kind of used to, but it was awesome doing it with new people and really getting to add to the process instead of just, watching a teacher and taking from them. It was awesome to just talk to Katie and see where she was at with the scene. How can we work with energies, even though it was over a Zoom call? It was really cool to figure that out and see how that works out, because I feel like a lot of shows have been doing this for their audition processes lately, which has been an interesting it's been an interesting thing to see come out of the pandemic, but I think it's something that's really cool because then we can work with so many different people, whether they live in Australia, whether they live on the other side of the globe. I think it's been something really great to come out of it.
Yeah, sick. Katie, do you have anything to add on that?
Everything that Cara said, I absolutely agree with. I do a lot of composing and band jams as well as teaching online as well. So that was me last year. I was fully fledged online already, and and so when the boys asked us to demo these new songs that Geordie's written, it was really awesome to sort of get Geordie's demo he'll kill me for saying this, but because they were written in girls' keys, you know, it'd have Geordie's chipmunk voice on there, or at least his Backstreet Boys chipmunk voice, and you know, and then we'd mimic that, but in our own style. So it was really cool to just bring these songs to life for the first time in these demos. And that was done all during the pandemic when we were stuck at home. And then we'd back and forth a few times and then get vocal, you know, and you know, I guess character direction from Geordie, and then maybe redo the demo until those guys were happy with it. And then do you remember, Cara, we also did that initial kind of reading for this small test group audience. You remember? It seems so long ago now.
There's this thing where we have a bit of back and forth, and it was interesting getting like the tempos to work over Zoom.
Yeah. We did the whole script over Zoom for about 10 people, you know, all on this Zoom call. And that's what we were leading up to with these demos, you know, that Geordie wanted to have those demos done for that reading. And that was the first time the cast, at that point, I think the cast was just the three of us, right, Cara? Yeah. But that was the first time the three of us got to feel the show and all the film. I keep saying show, film, what is it? I don't know, you know, in its entirety. But long story short, it was, there was some really, really good stuff happening via Zoom online, which I think enhanced everything that we did from the second that we got to be in the same room together where the magic happened, which I think was late November last year was the first time we got to do it in a room. Yeah.
Sweet. It was very collaborative as well, which I think is so awesome for an original work, to have creatives, you know, want more from us as the performers to interact and add to that process.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going next. Working on an original piece. This is the first pandemic piece that I've got to cover on this show. Like, it's the first new work coming out of this period. What was that like, getting to be on the ground level and getting to really create the character and how it's going to look for the first time to an audience in this whole process?
I think we did a lot of, because we had the time online, I think we did a lot of dramaturgy and pulling apart of the text and finding where these characters were coming from, and both Cara and I and Connor, you know, were able to, you know, take part in that storytelling from that ground level up and make suggestions about, would they do that? Would they, you know, would they make those decisions? Or just to really understand the motivations behind what was actually happening on the page, before we'd even got to be in a rehearsal room together and feel the energy of that scene as well. So I think as actors, that was a really cool process. And then again, once we got together in the rehearsal room, it was just super, it was absolutely super exciting to be able to bring these characters to life for the first time. Whether you've got to feel whether you're being true to the character as well. And, you know, Geordie as our director and one of the writers and the songwriter, he was so supportive of our decisions, and, you know, opened up different suggestions on maybe what if she did it like this? Or would she do it like that? But what if she made this decision? Let's try it this way. So I'm rambling, Cara, but I'm sure you agree with all of that. But if you want to jump in anytime, it was just, it was a really nice process, and it didn't feel rushed either.
It was really nice to just, like, after, you know, questioning the script a lot over Zoom and, like, figuring all of that out, just to sit in it and really just sit in the feeling of it instead of thinking about the words. Because I know personally for me, like, screen acting is so foreign to me. I've always only done theatre. So I think it was really important to, you know, really know where our character was at for every single scene, even if it was a tiny little 15-second moment. It was really good to just be able to focus on not the intention, but like, I don't know the word that I'm trying to find here, because we'd already have the intention set in place. So it wasn't like I'd have to think about that. I'd just have to think about
just being truthful.
Being truthful, yeah, which is really awesome. Just finding that in a sense of screen work.
I love that. It's so cool. There's like, it sounds like such a cool project to like be a part of and get to work on. I'm like super excited to see the end product. Moving from a 3-person cast to an extended cast and getting into that creative space where you're in person and getting to be back in that whole creative space, not via a screen. Talk me through the emotion or the excitement of heading back into a room with people and getting to put something together once again.
It was amazing.
I know, you go. I remember just walking into the very first rehearsal we had in person. It was just the 3 of us. And even that was just amazing, just to be able to take off our mask and hear our voices together blending in an open space, like not just over an iTunes thing we sent. It was just beautiful to feel that. And then coming together as a whole cast and being able to sing the songs, because we'd learnt all our parts over Zoom, including the ensemble tracks and so forth. Being able to hear that together, it just felt, I don't know, it just felt like a big relief to feel it come together. Like, I can't imagine how it felt from like a creative team aspect, but as like a cast member, it just made it feel so special.
Yeah, you're right. They because there was, I guess there was always that sort of risk factor involved because we were all cast online as well. And I know, Cara, you've worked with Geordie before, but I hadn't worked with these guys before. And it's a big cast, and I know that they cast a lot of amazing singer, actor, dancers in this show, because the choreography in Suddenly is just breathtaking. And I am Mia's biggest fan, our choreographer. I can't wait for the world to see Mia's choreography in this. We had choreography rehearsals over Zoom as well, right, Cara?
Yeah.
Even me, a mover.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
Oh yeah, I try. I guess for me, just moving on from those couple of initial amazing first in-person rehearsals with the 3 of us, moving into when we had the full cast finally. That was a really special moment because you got to, we've all done theatre before, so once you're in a room with your full cast and you hear everybody singing and you get to feel everybody's energies and looks, and if you've been doing this for long enough, especially as an actor or even a creative team member, you can see the end product from just the people in the room, and you sort of hear everybody, and you hear the leads sing solo, and you see people dance the choreo for the first time because they've already learnt it, and you just say to yourself, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. And you hadn't actually had that feeling this whole time. Like, you were creating something new and exciting, and the music's amazing, and the script's exciting. But once you have everybody in that room and we did the first number, you're like, oh shit, okay, this is awesome. So
instead of it taking like a couple of rehearsals to get that point, it's like the instant first in person. You're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. As a whole, what is your favorite part of the show, Cara?
I think as a whole, it was just being able to meet such beautiful, talented, determined young people, because the cast is so young. And it was just amazing to interact with all these people that I've never met before. And the cast being so diverse, I think, played a big aspect into this, as I knew a lot of these people, but I'd never met them in real life. So being able to collaborate with them and their talents, I think was just such an awesome thing, especially after a year of not having that.
Katie?
I think now, thinking about it now, I think it would have, if you'd asked me the question throughout the process, it would have changed.
Yeah.
But asking me now, I think my favorite, what did you say, part of Suddenly, I think is just the, how do I say it? The concept itself and the determination and talent of Dean and Geordie, and to be a part of what they've created from scratch has been a really, really amazing opportunity. And as a composer, actor myself, and I've been around for a little bit, just to see this new wave of creative Australian new music theatre talent coming through, and approaching it from such a professional level, and what they've output with is just mind-blowing to me. Like, what was I doing when I was 22? Not this, and so it's been a really wonderful, special experience to be here with these guys, and Cara and the rest of the cast. Because I hate saying this, but I'll say it. This is my first time playing a mother in a musical or on stage or in anything I've done in my career so far. And so with that has come a certain outlook of what's going on around me with these amazing young people, as Cara said. So I'm really, really thrilled to be part of where that trajectory, where these guys are taking this industry, especially with starting with Suddenly, for sure.
So good. That was the perfect answer to that question. To wrap things up, guys, looking back on the last year and a half, being away from the industry, everything like that, what's the biggest thing you've learned either about yourself or the industry during this period of being away from it?
I guess I'd say that, like, it's ever changing and it's ever growing. And I think it's so beautiful that this isn't only our livelihoods, but this is our career. And I feel so lucky to be a part of that and to have that opportunity and that privilege, I guess. And I think it's just so wonderful that, we get to appreciate it from all aspects as performers. So I just have grown a larger appreciation for what we get to do every day.
So cool.
Mine's not as beautifully profound as yours. I know that I learnt a lot about, I guess, the filmmaking process, and and for me, just about what it takes to release something so spectacular and exciting in this sort of digital social media 2021 world coming out of the pandemic, that again, Dean's done so well with. I'm just so impressed. And so I'm learning a lot about that new approach. But yes, as an actor, I remember Cara will tell you, we've got this beautiful, beautiful scene in the movie that was just a joy. And yes, one of my favorite parts of the process was filming that scene with Cara as a screen actor, and just getting to a point where, did that feel right? Did we hit that mark? And then they'd yell cut and said, yeah, we got it. Like, did we get it? I was so in it, I'm not sure. And then we cut. And again, like the one thing I wanted to say was, when we were running the show before we went to film, it was so bizarre. Again, as theatre actors, we'd run the show, but we'd finish a scene or finish a number, and then rather than just running straight into the next scene, they'd yell cut in the run.
Yeah, and we just walk off.
And we just walk off and then we set and then do something on with the show. It was so bizarre to stop and yell cut in a run. But then, yes, you brought that in. Yeah, so just learning all about that process was a big curve as well, yeah.
That is an amazing way to wrap this up, guys. Everyone listening, you can catch Suddenly from April 30th. It is going to be free for you to watch on YouTube, which is also just incredible. So links to everything will be down below. If you want to follow Cara or Katie, that's down below as well. If you want to watch the trailer and get even more excited than you are right now, that is also down below. Everything is down below. Do that. But guys, other than that, we will be back next week with a brand new episode of the We Are Theatre podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, Katie, Cara. Thank you.
Thank you so much.